Welcome to Fukuoka Futaba GC English. For this lesson, you will need a pencil and a piece of paper. And your task for this lesson is to make a note of any words you see on the screen that you don't understand. Stop the video if necessary so that you can write them down. If you need to get a pencil and a piece of paper, pause the video now. British and American English, that's the subject for today's lesson. Although the language might seem the same, there are many differences between British and American English. In this lesson, we will look at some of these differences. It would be a mistake to think that one is better than the other. However, some people may think that certain parts of one are, in some cases, better than the other. Exactly which these are is for you to decide. The first, spelling. You may be aware that some of the spellings of British English and American English are different, but let's just have a look at a few examples. So first, colour, colour, endeavour, endeavour, flavour, flavour, favour, favour, humour, humour, neighbour, neighbour. So can you see the difference? The British English uses the O-U-R at the end, whereas the American English uses the O-R at the end. Let's look at some more examples. Centre, centre, litre, litre, spectre, spectre, theatre, theatre. So can you see the difference in these words? I'm sure you can. It's the RE with British English and the ER with American English. So remember, if there's any of these words that you don't understand, please make a note of them and check their meanings after this lesson is finished. Let's move on. Analyse, analyse, apologise, apologise, criticise, criticise, recognise, recognise. Can you see the difference here? It's the SE ending in British English and the ZE ending in American English. In fact, American English say Z instead of Z. British English we say Z. American English it's Z. Let's move on to some more examples. Traveller, traveller, travelling, travelling. Counsellor, counsellor, counselling, counselling, quarrelling, quarrelling, signalling, signalling. So, can you see the difference here? Yeah, it's the British English has the two L's, whereas the American English only has the one L in these examples. I'm from the UK. So if I see traveller with one L, it looks wrong to me. But of course, it's not wrong to an American. Let's look at some more examples. Cosy, cosy, grey, grey, mum, mum, pyjamas, pyjamas, tyre, tyre. This is a car tyre. And can you see many differences there between the British and the American spellings? So again, if there are any words here that you don't understand, please make a note of them and check their meaning in a dictionary after this lesson has finished. And it gets a little bit more complicated with a word like program in British English, because we talk about a television program, but a computer program. The spelling is different. In American English, there's just the one spelling. And the same with practice. Look at the examples for the British English. Have you done your piano practice? Yes, I practiced the piano this morning. American English just uses the same spelling. British English, one is a noun and the other is a verb. The C is a noun. Have you done your piano practice? The S is a verb. Yes, I practiced the piano this morning. And it's not only spelling that's different between the two countries. Punctuation is different as well. Let's look at some examples. Mr., Ms., Mrs., Doctor. And you can see the punctuation with the American English has the period after the abbreviation. The use of quotation marks differs between British and American English. Look at the examples below. I love lyrics that tell stories, said the songwriter, like Elton John's Rocket Man when he says, Mars ain't the kind of place to raise your kids. Now the American version, it reads exactly the same, but British style uses single quotation marks for the first quotation and then double quotes when there is a quotation inside the quotation. Wow, that sounds complicated, doesn't it? Have a closer look at the example. Here you can see the quotation marks in red. The British version, if we look at the American version, American style uses double quotation marks for the first quotation and then single quotes when there is a quotation inside a quotation. Oh. And there it is with the American quotation marks. It might be easier if we look at those side by side. Look at the two examples again. Look very carefully. The first quote in British English uses single quotation marks. The first quote in American English uses double quotation marks. And then when there's a quotation inside a quotation, British English uses double quotation marks and American English uses single quotation marks. They're opposite. And there's more. The British also put punctuation that is not part of the quotation outside the quotation marks. Americans do the opposite. Look at the example again. Can you see that blue comma? I love lyrics that tell stories. And then there's the blue comma outside the quotation marks. Look at the American English. I love lyrics that tell stories. And then the blue comma is inside the quotation marks. Dates and times. British and Americans have different ways of writing the date and time. This is how we'd write the date and time in British English. And this is how we'd write the date and time in American English. The way of writing the date can be very confusing because if you don't know whether you are reading British English or American English, you don't know if the date is December 5th or May 12th. It's confusing. Fortunately, the ISO, that is the International Organization for Standardization, or the American English uses a Z instead of S, International Organization for Standardization, has established the year, month and date format, in which December 5th, 2020 would be written 2020 12/05. Pronunciation. Listen to how some words are pronounced differently in British and American English. Can, can't.
Can, can't.
Missile.
Missile.
Advertisement.
Advertisement.
Schedule.
Schedule.
Vase.
Vase.
Vitamin.
Vitamin.
Could you hear a difference? Listen again. Can, can't.
Can, can't.
Missile.
Missile.
Advertisement.
Advertisement.
Schedule.
Schedule.
Vase.
Vase.
Vitamin.
Vitamin.
And there's more. Look at these two buildings. British English, we say ground floor, but American English, it's the first floor or ground floor sometimes. In Japan, you refer to the ground floor as the first floor. So when I first came to Japan, it was a little bit confusing. Next, the first floor in British English is the second floor in American English. Okay, let's look at some other examples. British English, we say chips. American English, French fries. British English, crisps. American English, potato chips. British English, biscuit. American English, cookie.
Cookie!
Questions and answers. So, which is best? British English or American English? Well, no, there isn't a best. They're just different. Which is easiest? Well, that's for you to decide. What about Canadian or Australian English? Well, that's a good question. Canada is close to America, so it is influenced by American English, whereas Australia has close ties to the UK, so Australians tend to use British English. Should I use British or American English when I write? Well, the rule is you have to use one or the other. Don't mix the two styles. Won't my accent be strange learning from teachers from different countries? Well, actually, no. I've heard many Japanese people who've had teachers from different countries, and their accent is neutral. So it sounds nice. Do Americans understand British English, and do British understand American English? Yes, I think so. We have no problems communicating. There might be some idioms or expressions that are different, but generally speaking, we don't have any difficulty communicating. Where are the teachers from at Futaba? Well, we have teachers from the UK, myself, America, Australia, Canada, so many different places. Isn't all this confusing? No, it's interesting. It's fascinating to compare the way the language has developed and changed, and how it differs between one country and another country, but is yet the same language. It's very interesting. How can I improve my English? This is a question a lot of Japanese people ask me, and the answer is quite simple. You have to practice. And notice that's practice with an S for British English and C for American English. But it's true, if you want to be good at anything, then you must practice. And it doesn't matter whether that's a language or a sport. If you want to be good at a sport, what do you have to do? You have to practice. The same with musical instruments. If you want to be good at something, you have to practice. Well, this is the end of the video highlighting just some of the differences between British and American English. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sure you'll enjoy learning more at Fukuoka Futaba.